Welcome to the Solid Verbal. The Solid Verbal.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
I've heard so many players say, well, I want to be happy. You want to be happy for a day? Eat a steak.
It's that woo-woo!
And now, Dan and Ty.
Welcome back to the Solid Verbal, boys and girls. My name is Ty Hildebrand. I am over here in snowy Allentown, Pennsylvania. I am joined by my friend and colleague and co-host of many years, way over there in also snowy New York City, Dan Rubenstein. Sir, how are you?
I am nervous, Ty. I have butterflies in my stomach right now because we have been wanting to do this show for so long. We came up with the concept for this show a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I had a long day of work. I just got back from my bachelor party. I've given this way too much thought, and I am thus very excited. Also, because there's nothing to talk about in college football.
There's nothing to talk about in college football. So here's the deal. We talked about it on the last couple shows. It's the off season, and once you get to this time frame, kind of like between now and spring football, now and the draft, it's slow going in terms of actual college football stuff. We had talked about doing this show all throughout last season. We're calling it the secret garbage bracket, and we've timed it, coincidentally enough, that the NCAA tournament starts tomorrow. We're recording this on a Wednesday evening. The tournament, the actual NCAA basketball tournament, we do have a pool for the Solid Verbal. If you haven't seen it, go on to Facebook or Twitter, but we're doing a different bracket. It's thematic, but it's a different kind of bracket, which we'll get into here in a little bit.
Last night, and I didn't send you this file because it's abhorrent, but we have music for this, the theme music for this, the secret garbage bracket. And I was trying to find like a Marv Albert-esque voice to lay over it. And I was going like, from New York and Allentown. So I kept like trying to do that. So obviously my voice is a little higher than Marv Albert's. He's got that low, like from the MCI.
But grovelly, kind of thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And every single take I did, and this is without exception, it sounded like Marv Albert was doing the voice of Krang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So it was always just like, from New York City. It was very bad, Ty. It was extremely unfortunate.
You get an E for effort.
The secret garbage bracket.
We solicited a bunch of suggestions, many of which we had already come up with on our own, but some of which gave us really good ideas to include in our brackets. I will get to the format of that, and we will lay down the intro track here momentarily. Before we do, a few housekeeping notes. First and foremost, if you're listening to the show or just finding us for the first time, please do subscribe out on iTunes at itunes.com/solidverbal or anywhere where you can find your favorite podcasts. Dan, we have been getting a lot of reviews. We got a great review that I posted to Twitter. Quote, if Ty Hildenbrandt would relax and talk like a normal person, I'd give it another star.
Listen, you have the pipes. Why waste them? Why waste them just like hanging out and speaking like a normal human? Do you think I don't speak normally, though? Like, I kind of talk like this in real life, too. I don't think you fully speak like this in real life.
No?
We've hung out enough where you are in broadcast mode as a broadcaster, but like when we're talking about, like, for instance, like you can never stop talking about like sex stuff.
Right.
And so like you have a different voice when you talk about stuff like that. No, you're a lower key, I would say, in talking about normal stuff.
All right. Well, I'll try to dial it back here.
Now, stay you. The people love you.
Be my normal relaxed state, if you will. Also find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat. More on that in a little bit here as we get into our brackets. Anything else I'm leaving out before we just dive right in?
No, I'll give a couple people asked. I'll give a very brief review of my bachelor party from the past weekend after the bracket. That'll be our epilogue for this ridiculous show.
New Orleans, right?
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Great. Can't wait. Okay. Let's lay it down. Oh, yeah.
From New York.
All right, Dan. This is the secret garbage bracket show. What exactly is this, Dan?
I'm glad you asked, Ty. I'm glad you asked. So secret garbage is taking something that is universally, not necessarily beloved, but accepted, welcomed into society, into the open arms of a polite society, as being something that is generally thought of as good, as acceptable, as fun, as a thing people enjoy. And we just sort of move on from it without fully recognizing that this thing, it could be food, it could be a place, it could be an activity, it could be a state of mind, it could be a concept, whatever the case may be, is secretly actually garbage. And I think we've tried to shift in a direction, Ty, and excuse me if I'm speaking out of turn. Like, we try to appreciate, we try to be a little bit more positive. We make jokes, but we genuinely love college football, right?
Correct, yeah.
We love our subject matter.
Yes.
It's a complicated one, but we love it. So this is something that we are taking something that people seem to all like, or mostly like, but that we feel strongly against. We feel that this thing, this concept, this whatever it is, this item is secretly just trash.
I would also add that because an item is featured in our 16-team, 16-thing bracket that we're about to unveil, it does not require that you or I actually dislike any of the things that we're putting out there. There are some things in this list that I genuinely enjoy, but
okay,
I feel like a little self-awareness goes a long way. It can be a very powerful thing. And in this case, I think all of the items that we're about to unveil here are very applicable. So what we did is we put together a Google form and we threw it out there. As of our last show, we told people, submit the things that you think apply. We got a whole spectrum of answers, some of which totally fit the bill and we used, some of which were kind of on the cusp, which we can talk about a little bit later, some which just totally missed the mark but were funny. Like over 400 plus submissions to this, which on short notice was doing pretty well, if I don't say so myself. What you and I have decided to do in order to make this a little bit more mysterious, a little bit more dramatic, we have each filled out a roster of 8 items each, right?
Yeah.
We have prepared a bracket where we can slot each of our seeded items. But you know who's on my list, I know who's on yours. We don't know the order of the seeds. So it's kind of like a high school wrestling match. We know the roster, we don't know the order. The matchups could dictate who ultimately ends up winning this thing, right?
I imagine so. Yes, absolutely. And will openly add that if you are randomly listening to this show and you are a fan of the show to whatever degree, you are probably going to disagree with like 80%.
Oh yeah.
And you are I think vehemently, you are not going to appreciate a lot of these things because they fit under the category of things people like. And this is the disclaimer that I want to give, Ty. And feel free to jump in if I'm wrong. Ty and I are both very dumb. So let's just get that out of the way.
Agreed, yeah.
That we are both very dumb and we have strong opinions about things that are probably going to be wrong. And does that mean we love you any less if you disagree? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I can't say for certain. But Ty, do we want to play the music again? You know what the music sounds like? It sounds like the music that was behind Bob Hope trotting out like the All-American team in 1984. Where it was like, Barry Sand. I don't know why I'm going to Krang again.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to start with your lineup or do you want me to start with mine?
Well, let's start with our East region here, Dan. We've broken this down into 4 regions. We're doing the Sweet 16 because if we did the final 32 or even 64, we'd be here all day. We could do that if the assignment required it, but in this case, we don't have the time. So we're going to go Sweet 16, and we're going to start in the East region. We need to come up with better names for these regions.
Yeah, we can do that.
My number 1 seed, Dan, will be going up against your number 8 seed.
Yes.
My number 1 seed is the NFL.
Number 8 going against the NFL is day drinking.
Ooh.
Day drinking.
All right. So, again, things that people like that are secretly trash.
Yeah.
I will use the words of one Spencer Hall as it applies to the NFL. He said a long time ago that the NFL is like paying for sex. I can think of no better way to describe the NFL. I enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy it, but it's a lot like drinking Diet Coke. There's a soul, there's an individuality element that is missing from the NFL. It just feels too corporate. Everything that is fun has been boiled out of the final product. That by far is my number one seed.
I don't think I watched a full NFL game in 2016 during the regular season. I don't believe I did. And I work on Sundays and it's a little bit more difficult. But NFL is the product on TV is particularly bad. There's 8 good quarterbacks out of 32 teams. It's still not all that creative. I really do like watching the best quarterbacks. But beyond that, it takes a long time, not as long as college for the games. And it's tedious to me at this point. It is tedious after watching college football on Saturday. I don't like the broadcasters all that much. I don't like the pregame shows all that much. And it brings out the worst in sports media, I would say. And for that, I think your number one seed is pretty strong. My number 8 seed, Ty, is day drinking. And I'm a big proponent. Day drinking. I am a big proponent in avoiding everything. And I've talked about this. It falls under the same category, under the same umbrella as pancakes. Don't do anything in the morning, midday, that's going to ruin the rest of your day. Day drinking, it puts me to sleep. I feel like gross after 2 hours. I can't handle it. I think it's just avoid it. It's not worth it. A lot of it involves sweeter drinks too. It's largely garbage.
It's definitely a process. I disagree with you because I do enjoy the day drinking experience, but I will say this. In order to enjoy the experience, you need to be a veteran at it. Because if you go too hard too early, then it most certainly ruins your day an hour later. You have to know how to pace yourself in order to really get maximum enjoyment out of it.
Will you drink at brunch? Brunch is another thing that I'd be happy to have on this list. But
brunch was a suggestion that we got here.
Yeah.
I've been known to have a mimosa or two at a brunch, but it's not something I generally would do.
Wow. That's secretly exciting.
It is.
That you're still on that mimosa train. You love a good mimosa.
I do.
Yeah, I think it's a wreck. I think it's no win. Day drinking is garbage.
I think you can get away with it. I think you can get away with it. I think you can still have a good time. It definitely takes a toll on you, and there's a high probability of ruining the rest of your day.
Right.
I understand why this is an 8 seed, though, and that to me makes sense. I feel like we got to move the NFL through here, though, right?
Yeah, you can move the NFL through.
I've got some Gus Johnson sounds here.
Do you?
I do.
The slipper still fits.
I got that one. I got a few other ones here.
I don't think the NFL is going far. I feel like the NFL is the Georgetown or Kansas.
All right. Well, fair enough. Then you got to tell me who you think is going to beat the NFL.
Absolutely.
Also, in this bracket, so the NFL is going to play the winner of your 4 seed and my 5 seed. So who is your number 4 seed?
With my number 4 seed, I'm going with steakhouses, Ty.
Ooh.
I'm going steakhouses. So here's my issue. I haven't been to a steakhouse in a long time.
Wow.
Here's my issue. Steak is fine. It's totally fine. You want to pay $35, $40 for a cut of beef with salt and pepper? That's up to you. Good for you. It's boring to me. The formality of it is so stuffy. It's not fun. Everything is relatively overpriced. The same 3 appetite. You want cream spinach? You want a crab cake?
Mashed potatoes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You want garlic mashed potato? It's something that is for boring middle-aged people. And I understand myself to be a boring person in his early 30s. But if you live in a city with interesting food, I will never understand why you steak is. It's just steak or lobster or crab claws. Let's do better. Let's get some Vietnamese food. Let's get some Mexican food. Let's get some Italian food.
You're a
Why
foodie.
would you settle?
You're a foodie.
But you don't need to be a foodie to enjoy Asian food or Mexican food or Italian food, Ty.
I feel like if you had put Brazilian steakhouses here, it was potentially a number 1 or a number 2 seed.
Sure.
But steakhouses in general, I'm with you.
If you want to go for the most boring possible evening with the most boring possible people, suggest going to a steakhouse.
I would say that the workers at a steakhouse take the steak so seriously that it's kind of intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, it's very self-serious, yeah.
You don't necessarily get a better cut of steak for simply being at a steakhouse. I've been at steakhouses and gotten good steak.
Yeah, I like steak is fine.
But I don't feel like the two are always related.
Yeah, it's just like the oversized wine goblets, and it's just like meat and starch, and the whole idea of, and I know people feel this way. You like that, meat and starch?
Yeah.
When people say this about barbecue, like, oh, a good barbecue just needs salt and pepper. That's it.
Right. Cool.
Have fun. That's, boring people just treat their food in boring ways. It's tedious. And you get like these giant menus, and the people come out with you can like look at your steaks beforehand, like, oh, did you want the ribeye? Did you want to see the marbling on the ribeye? No. God, this is stupid. Right. Let's go get some pho.
My hunch is that you feel very passionate about this. You're not just putting on a show here.
No, it is for like very staid. It's just if you live in a place that has like two restaurants, one of them is probably a steakhouse.
Okay.
And if you are in a place with two restaurants, you're making bad decisions.
All right. Point taken. Yeah. My number 5 seed is another fine dining establishment. Mm-hmm. You may know it as Panera. Now listen.
What is wrong with Panera?
I love me some broccoli and cheese soup. I love it as much as the next guy. I love me some smoked turkey on country.
I love hearing, like, your food directions are just my favorite thing. Thus far, you've come out wildly in favor of mimosas and broccoli and cheese soup.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm in favor of the broccoli and cheese soup. I'm in favor of the smoked turkey on country. A lot of the other stuff that tastes good that Panera offers. My problem is that I don't like it for $10 a pop. And I definitely don't like it after you like go on YouTube or read the articles and see that the cheese soup comes out of a frozen plastic bag.
Of course it does.
The whole brand is built around freshness, right?
Right.
None of this stuff is actually fresh. And to boot, it's overpriced.
Right.
I feel like Panera was in vogue there for a while. It probably still is, but I have cooled dramatically on the whole Panera train. I don't think it's good enough to beat out steakhouses. But I feel like there are a lot of people who are still pretty gung-ho on Panera, and secretly it's still very garbage. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this is not as applicable because I've only been to Panera maybe 2 or 3 times in my life.
Really? Wow, okay.
I regularly will pay $11 or $12 for lunch because I live in an overpriced
I was going to say, you
city.
also live in New York, but point taken.
Right. So I will regularly pay that much for lunch anyway, but I would think there's different categories, right? There's like your fast food and you have like your value menu. So you could get away with paying like $4 for lunch. You have your intermediate or low end fast casual, which is what I feel like Panera falls under. And then your sort of more modern fast casual, which is like Shake Shack because Shake Shack is definitely a step up price-wise. There's places in New York, Dig In is one of them, Chopped is another one, like salads and plates and bowls and sandwiches and stuff like that. And they'll set you back $11 or $12, but the quality of a place like that, I feel like, is generally higher than Panera. So you sort of get what you pay for. So I think you're right, and Panera falls into one of those gray areas, like either get fast food or get something a little nicer. And right. Panera doesn't hit either one of those things.
I agree. All right, so it's steakhouses against Panera. I think we can unanimously agree that steakhouses gets the nod here.
I think we got to move steakhouses. I don't want to eat around bow ties. I just don't.
The 4-5 matchups generally very evenly matched, very pivotal contests. Steakhouses gets the nod here. I have no retort against it. Moving on now to the Midwest region. So we've got our first 2 in the Elite 8 through in the East region, the NFL and steakhouses. Look forward to that matchup in the next round. Now we go to the Midwest, Dan. And this is your 2 seed against my 7 seed.
My number 2 seed is Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, man.
Now.
Wow.
I know people from Las Vegas. I'm going to be specific. I'm going to say vacationing in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is generally centered around the Strip and environs. Las Vegas is useless. Once you turn 22, you don't need to go to Vegas. And now you might be saying to yourself, well, I mean, the restaurants and a show, and it's just like, no. you don't want to be around people that love going to Vegas, because that you have to go to shows around people who love going to Vegas. You have to go to restaurants around people who love going to Vegas. And it's a mess, and it's loud, and it's hot, and it's smoky, and you hear
All right, but hold on. Let me retort. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but what if you're there for something other than gambling or drinking or debauchery? Like, what if you went for
So what are you there for?
A concert?
Do you want to see Celine Dion and she's doing it only in Vegas? I'm listening.
Go see Britney Spears.
I would go with you, Ty. Go see Britney Spears.
What if you want to go see the Hoover Dam and just stay in Vegas and do the helicopter tour? What if you want to go out there and play a nice desert golf course stand? Golf also a possibility.
Go to Arizona. Go to Arizona.
I'm just saying, it might not be all bad.
I know. If you like gambling is just so boring to me too. Like, you're sitting in a disgusting room with mostly degenerates losing your money. Like, if I'm going to lose my money, I want to do it in a more exciting way. I think it's garbage. Do you gamble? Do you go and you sit at like a craps table or a blackjack table?
I'll do the blackjack thing, yeah. I haven't in a while. And since I've been married, I've done it exactly zero. But
right.
I enjoy myself a good blackjack shoe or two, yeah.
Does the solid wife Kate ever say, Ty, you ever want to go to Vegas?
No.
Okay, I was going to say.
No. That's never happened.
I mean, and if we're going to sort of parse this and have like a subheading, Atlantic City's might be worse, which is crazy.
Atlantic City, though, has a different kind of charm.
There is some charm to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It's not trying to be Vegas in the same way, even though there are casinos.
Yeah. I feel like Vegas saw Atlantic City and decided it wanted to be like 1,000 times better. All right. Your number 2 is Vegas against my number 7.
Right. I like this. This is specific.
It's very specific. Bluetooth connectivity.
Okay. I like this.
Yeah, I thought it through long and hard. And, you know, kind of along the same lines of like AC being a poor man's Vegas. Bluetooth connectivity is wireless connectivity, but it has shorter range, slower data speeds, like a greater likelihood of getting disconnected, like all of the possibilities that exist with any kind of wireless connection, all the risks that exist with a wireless connection are multiplied about 8-fold when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity. And yet we're still making Bluetooth devices. They're selling things like hotcakes on the Bluetooth side of things, whether it's a speaker or some neck buds, whatever they call them now. You can buy a whole range of great Bluetooth products, but to me, it's just not reliable.
Ty, I just got some Bose Bluetooth headphones.
Yeah.
They're great when they charge.
Right.
I have charging issues with them. Not great. Yeah, Bluetooth is like the new printer cable or the new print. Like, has a printer ever for its entire life just worked fine?
No.
I don't feel like a single printer has been produced. So that sort of falls under the same corollary as the Bluetooth connectivity. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. I don't have a car, so I don't have that experience that you probably do connecting, but Bluetooth seems kind of garbagey.
Bluetooth in the car is a treasure unto itself.
I'm going to go Vegas here. I'm going to take the W here, I think.
I'm going to go Vegas here. Let's go Gus. There he does that little laugh. All right, so you got another one through to the Elite 8 here. I'm penciling it in on our sheet, Las Vegas. That brings us to the second matchup in the Midwest region before we take a station break here.
Oh, okay.
An interesting way that the Midwest region has been set up. You're going to notice a theme here. We did not plan this out. Honestly, we didn't. But there is a decided party theme going on here, with the exception, of course, of Bluetooth connectivity.
Yeah.
My number 3 seed is bottle service, Dan.
Okay, so I took exception with this.
Yeah, you did. You like bottle service.
No, I've never done bottle service in my life. I'm only sort of positive I know what it is, but I don't know a single person that does this.
Okay.
Do you know people that do this?
Yes.
That will go to, like, I, off the top of my head, could not tell you the last time I went to a club was probably when I was in Las Vegas, and it was awful. And I don't know the last time friends of mine have been to a club and had even the option to do this.
So, quick sidebar.
Hold on. let me jump in. I lied. I was offered bottle service at my bachelor party this past weekend.
Oh, there you go.
It was
Fair
so
enough.
bad. Didn't do it.
In a previous life, and certainly not on my own volition, I was part of a crew that did bottle service at a local bar. And I can tell you from experience that I've never been more uncomfortable, and I've never felt more pretentious in my entire life. That's just not my speed.
I don't think it's pretentious.
I think it is.
Fully on douchey. I think it's douchey.
Yeah, well, sure. I just, in a crowded nightclub, it can give you instant status. If you're out in Vegas,
yeah.
It can give you status if you have the booth with your crew.
Well, that's why
And
Vegas is so bad.
It's definitely way more convenient not having to go and fight for a bartender's attention. I get that aspect of it. But $150 for one bottle. Stuff like that to me. Anything overpriced falls into the garbage category, whether it's secret or not. And bottle service, when you layer on top of it the fact that it could be pretentious and douchey and all that stuff in between, that to me is definitely something that maybe a younger generation is into, but I am not.
The rest of these entries are things we come across pretty often. Panera, steakhouses, the NFL, Las Vegas, these bachelor parties and stuff like that. Bluetooth connectivity, obviously, you have a serious issue with.
Yes.
But the bottle service thing is like once every 3 years you get offered it, in my experience.
Well, I mean, there are other things on here.
It doesn't fit, is what I'm saying.
You don't think it's mainstream enough?
I don't think it's mainstream enough.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is. I strongly disagree. Bottle service is a thing.
Okay.
It's a thing.
Bottle service will be squaring off against my number 6 seed in the Midwest. My number 6 seed is New Year's Eve.
Wow. That's an underseed.
It's probably underseeded. New Year's Eve is a total waste of time. I mean, if you have problems with overpriced things, I don't know how you put bottle service ahead of an entire night that includes bottle service options.
Right. Okay.
So New Year's Eve is, restaurants and bars and clubs will invite people out and you can sign up for prefix menus and things like that. And you count down, you dress up nicely. I get the idea of going out and dressing up and sort of gathering friends and, your spouse, whatever, and really doing it up. I understand that. But the pain of it, especially if you follow college football, which I assume most people listening do, it's not worth it. It is just, I think your plan, Ty, is pretty genius. And that is figure out your own tradition. You do the hibachi thing, right? You order a bunch of mimosas and broccoli cheese soup and just do your thing.
That's right, baby.
Going all out on New Year's Eve, it just seems like such garbage. It seems it's useless. It's overrated.
That's what Bill Hancock tried. Bill Hancock wanted to start a new tradition. Didn't work for him.
New tradition. No.
Didn't work for him.
Didn't.
Here's my problem with New Year's Eve. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I've been an outspoken critic against New Year's Eve for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
But if you're going to argue that bottle service is not mainstream enough to be included or to be seated as highly as I've seated it, you could also make the case that New Year's Eve, it's overtly garbage, Dan. It's an excuse to drink champagne. Everyone knows it's garbage already. So the secret factor is lacking here.
I live in a place where 100,000 people pack themselves annually into a tiny square. Those people really like it.
A lot of those people aren't from there, Dan.
I know, but these are people that like it.
It's an experience to go to Times Square and see that. That's a noted event in this country, in this world.
But that's going out for New Year's Eve. That's garbage.
Going out to an event. It's like going to a concert. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are a New Year's Eve apologist.
Right. Do you like New Year's Eve?
No, I've never liked New Year's Eve.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm out in the open about that.
But people will go out all over the place. They go out for New Year's Eve.
They do. They do. I'm just saying it's not that much. It's not secret garbage. It's out in the open garbage. It's a garbage can with
no, because people do it. People like it.
Bottle service against New Year's Eve.
I'm saying strong 6 seed, maybe underseeded, but I'm going to ride for New Year's Eve.
I still think bottle service has it beat.
I think fewer people like bottle service than like New Year's Eve. I think people are much more squarely, I think it's 80-20 people don't like it. Or I think New Year's Eve is closer to 60-40, 50-50.
We had our Fantasy Things scoring podcast a while ago. And I caught a lot of crap for letting you push too hard on me.
But nobody likes bottle service.
I feel like there are a lot of people listening that like bottle service, but I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to agree with you on this front.
Hell yeah, you are.
I'm going to agree with you on this front. Far more people like New Year's Eve than bottle service. I think that's objectively true. So because of that, I think
that fits the spirit.
Because of that, I am willing to go ahead and give you New Year's Eve here. New Year's Eve against Vegas in the next round is going to be a knockdown drag out. But
okay.
On that note, Dan, you know what isn't secretly garbage?
What's that, Ty?
How about getting a suit that fits?
Oh, I'm in that business.
Did you get your suit yet for your wedding?
I need that need. I have not gotten it yet, Ty.
Are you actually going to get married?
I am going to get married. We are, let's see, 2.5 months out. I've got time.
Jeez, man. Get on it. Indochino here. Potentially an option for you. We had a gentleman write into us a couple months ago to cash in on this Indochino offer to not only buy a suit for him for his wedding, but also for everyone in his wedding party.
Smart. Very smart.
It's a good deal. It's one of the largest made-to-measure menswear brands out there. They make it easy for guys to get a great-fitting, high-quality suit and shirts at an incredible price. All you got to do is this. Go to Indochino.com. That's INDOCHINO.com. Or you can go by one of their 9 North American showrooms. You pick from hundreds of fabrics and patterns. Choose all the customizations you want, from lapels to pleats to jacket linings, all the good stuff. And you submit your body measurements. And that's pretty much it.
So simple, so easy.
Then you kick it, you relax, you get ready to step into the best, most stylish suit you've ever worn. They'll get it to you in just 4 weeks, which is pretty incredible.
That's great.
This week, Solid Verbal listeners can get any premium Indochino suit for just $389 at Indochino.com. You want to enter the code SOLID at checkout. That's a 50% savings off the regular price. Again, for a made-to-measure premium suit, plus the shipping is free. Indochino.com, promo code SOLID. Any premium suit for just $389, free shipping. Don't got to worry about badly fitting suits. Don't got to worry about expensive trips to the tailor ever again, Dan. Indochino, get ready to look like $1 million. Do it now.
It's a great deal.
The West region is your number 1 seed against my number 8 seed, Dan. Who is your number 1 seed?
I'm going with an entrant that is, I feel, unbeatable. Okay. Even by bottle service.
Don't make fun of my bottle service.
My number 1 is social media.
Ooh.
People love social media. People have built careers. People have become wealthy. People have become famous because of social media. MySpace, Shenga, FanCred. No, I like FanCred. Friendster, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Social media is largely garbage.
Okay. Why?
So Facebook is, again, it's so, at this point, I scroll through my Facebook feed and it's babies and people yelling about politics, both sides of the baby. Twitter is, it's anonymous people harassing women, and even like the harassment aside, like if you sign up for Twitter and you're not like really, really into anything, I don't understand how you get into Twitter at all. It's just a lot of people spewing garbage. Twitter's good for jokes. Twitter's good for goofs and occasionally meeting other civil and like-minded people, but that is occasional. That is not often. Right. Although we do have a sports media friend who met his wife on Twitter, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
Twitter's garbage. It takes up way too much of people's times, myself included. Facebook is just a mess. And Instagram, it is good to learn on places like Instagram and Snapchat which of your friends like filming stuff, like pointing their cameras at whatever's happening in the world, and which of them just point it at themselves. And you're just like, oh, they really like themselves a lot. That is good to learn.
Right. Okay.
But the actual value of all of these things is a minus. It's such a waste of time. Like if you pull back, like if you went on a trip right now, Ty, and you went to Yosemite and you just didn't bring your phone out of where the tent or the tent cabin or wherever you're staying, you just didn't bring your phone. You and Kate and Mama H. I know not Uncle Joe because he's terrified of planes, but
right.
If you just went out and hiked, just talked, just looked around, you didn't have your phone on you, you didn't have anything to worry about, your experience would be at least 10,000 times better.
I would get the shakes without my phone, but that's a separate topic altogether.
But after you got over those shakes, you would just like crack jokes, talk about life.
Okay. Here's my counterpoint.
Oh, by the way, follow us on @solidverbal and facebook.com/.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Social media brought us the Ice Bucket Challenge. Was that annoying? A little. But it did lead to a pretty significant breakthrough in ALS research. That wasn't a bad thing. On the Twitter front, hold on. There are many folks, such as myself. Twitter is our primary news source. I don't go to a lot of websites anymore. Twitter is my primary news source. That is, I think, a solid application of the technology. Social media, I think, when applied in the correct fashion, can be a really effective means of communicating with family and friends. So there's a lot of trashy components to it, but I don't think across the board it's as unanimously garbage as you're trying to get people to believe.
So if consumed properly is the key phrase there, Ty. I don't think it's consumed properly anymore. I'm the old man about it. I think it's garbage. I really do.
So this could...
I think we were in a better place.
This could potentially be a spot here for one of my play-in winners to knock off social media.
Okay. What do you think is...
I have two items here. One of which is mainstream, one of which you said isn't. I could not decide which one was my 8 seed, so I was hoping maybe we could do a play-in game first, if that's okay.
Okay. Sure. What do you have?
So the first one I have is The Night Of, which is a show on HBO that you said wasn't mainstream enough.
I haven't seen a single second.
I would contend that it's an HBO show, therefore it must be mainstream enough. But basically, if you haven't seen it, it was a TV show, a miniseries they made sort of in hopes of riding on the coattails of the Serial podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they made a TV show without actually listening to the Serial podcast. Like, people loved it. It got rave reviews. I watched it like a time and a half, and I gotta be honest, it leaves a lot to be desired. It's just not as good as some people.
When you say a time and a half, you watched it all the way through 1.5 times?
I watched it the whole way through, and then I jumped back to a few key episodes to try and see if I could gather some details I missed the first time around, because it truly it left me yearning for more.
It did get good reviews. People do like it.
We had a submission of The Night Of a couple times on our forum. I actually had it jotted down on our sheet long before anyone submitted it. So The Night Of, I feel like it deserves some contention here. The other play-in competitor, I think, is kale. Because as you know, it's all the rage. It's a superfood, but it is a weed and it does taste like crap pretty much 100% of the time.
I'm not a huge fan of kale, I got to admit. I think that falls. That's a strong contender, but pretty easily avoided. Did you know? I don't know if this is still current. Who the biggest kale buyer was in the country, and maybe until recently, or perhaps still,
McDonald's.
Which entity? Not McDonald's. Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut.
Because they would line as decoration. They would line their what's it called? Their lunch counters, their buffets with kale. It was their garnish. They weren't serving it as food, Ty.
Yeah.
That's what kale was. It was just garnish.
I'm going to give this one to kale.
Okay.
Kale is big enough where it counts to knock off social media. The question is kale against social media. Social media is less of a fad than kale. It's been around long enough that it's not a fad. You've got social media companies that have gone IPO and been on the stock market now, the stock exchanges for quite some time.
You have hundreds of millions of people.
They're making billions upon billions of dollars. It's obviously a profitable entity. Kale, I feel like its moment in the sun has come and gone. Like it's sort of in the process of being sunsetted, primarily because it still tastes like crap And I say that 100% of the time. Social media you can apply in ways that make sense to you personally, and it's not all bad. Kale always sucks.
Yeah, but how many people eat kale as compared to how many people use social media and are burned by social media and whose lives are worse because of it? You ever see a group of like 12-year-olds somewhere just staring at their phones, cyberbullying each other? It's the worst crap ever.
At the risk of again being bullied, I'll go social media.
Send it through.
I'll go social media.
Okay. You have plenty of opportunities here. Bottom of this bracket.
I have some good ones coming up. So I'm not panicking yet, but you've won 4 in a row now.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Ty, I should have admitted this at the top. I am somebody that people like who is secret garbage. So I inherently have an advantage.
People suggested you on our forum. Did you see the forum?
I know, we got a couple, and I appreciate that. I mean, that's people are really thinking critically and correctly.
We should also point out that, as we alluded on our previous show, the solid verbal is the overall number 1 in this secret garbage bracket.
Oh, it has to be. It has to be.
Yeah. All right, my number 4
right,
seed.
you're 4
here.
against my 5.
My 4 is massage therapy, Dan.
I'm going to take issue with this.
You ever go for a massage?
I have gotten massages.
What was that experience like for you?
The last massage I got was part of like a couples spa thing that I got for the solid fiance for, was it Valentine's Day, birthday? I forget what the celebration was at a nice place in New York.
Did you enjoy it?
Very much. I had some knots. I had some kinks. It was like a steamy, pooly area, like where it was happening. And she did a wonderful job. She walked out. I dropped trow. I put a towel on, and she hit what I needed, Ty. She oiled me up, and I felt great.
See, on one hand, there are obvious benefits to it, and it can be relaxing if you find a good masseuse. Relieve some of that tension in your muscles. I get it.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, it feels a little bit like voodoo to me. I don't fully buy into it. It's comforting. It can be. But the overall experience around the massage is more what I find unnerving and secretly garbage. You know, you go in there, you got to put the towel on, which isn't always the most comfortable of experiences.
Right.
A lot of weird ambient noise, nature sounds, the rain sounds on like the rain sound generator in the corner.
I don't hate it.
Sometimes, depending on the masseuse, they give you sort of like weird commentary as they're going through and feeling your muscles. Like I had a massage one time that I got as a gift, and I was creeped out because the woman doing the massage got to my neck and said, "Oh, it feels like there was a car crash up here." She wasn't wrong, but it creeped me out a little bit. I feel like there is a creepy component to massage therapy for what you're paying and what you're getting and the unnerving components of it. I feel like this is a solid number 4 seed. A lot of people like it. A lot of people go to bat for it. Secretly, I kind of think it's garbage. I've never done it again.
I hear you, what you're saying, Ty. I'm listening. I'm taking it in. What I'm hearing, subtext, you didn't get any HJs. And you're a little bit bummed.
That's not where I'm going with it.
That's what I'm hearing.
That's not where I'm going with it.
I think if you went up to a random person on the streets and polled them and said, do you have a positive feeling? Do you have a positive connotation with getting a massage? I would say 8.5 out of 10 would say yes, which does you sort of play into the secret garbage element. But I can't imagine there are a lot of people that are avoiding massages because of towel discomfort.
I'm just telling you, if you've done it, there is definitely a part of it that is just weird.
Did you do the full nude?
I did not do that, no.
And you've only had a female masseuse, not a masseur?
Yeah, no entourage situation with Ken in Vegas, but...
Okay, I don't know what that reference is, but okay. There was the Costanza, it moved one too, right?
Right. Who is your number 5 seed?
My number 5 seed is voice-activated technology.
Oh, you dog.
So we're talking about like the Amazon Echo, Google Home, Siri. I think there are some like cable companies that have this built into their remote controls now, like iTunes, Apple TV, and stuff like that. Using those devices, using regular devices, using your phone, I sort of get the Siri thing a little bit if you're, your hands are full and you're just like, or you're like taking a nap and your phone's the other side of the room. You say, hey, Siri, wake me up in 30 minutes. That's cool. You'll get no argument from me. But the whole thing of like, hey, Alexa, what's the weather in Tampa today? Hey, Google, what color are zebras, black or white? Like, that is such large garbage. It's lazy, it's dumb, and you look so bad doing it in your home. I don't understand why people insist on doing these things.
I disagree. I've got the Echo Dot. Nobody really needs voice-activated technology. Let's leave it at that. Nobody can truly...
People with remote controls use it, and they already have a device to start things in their hands.
There are aspects of it that absolutely fall into that category. The Echo Dot was also, nor was the Google Home, created as the end-all, be-all. It's very good for a limited spectrum of tasks, right? If you want the weather, if you want to set a timer while you're in the kitchen, if you want to add something to a shopping list. Nobody truly needs any of this technology. You don't need it to get by. It's absolutely a first world problem. But as long as it's applied in a very, very small scope in your life, I feel like it can be very applicable and not trash.
Ty, I'm going to use you as a specific example because voice-activated technology barely edged out a tangential item.
Yeah.
And that's wearable technology.
Wearable technology, yeah.
Which I think is arguably even worse.
But
I don't think people like it as much.
I've got an Echo Dot and an Apple Watch. So I am well qualified to speak to both of these.
So within 12 feet of your person right now, 20 feet of your person, whatever it is, you have 3 devices that can tell you very basic things, right? If you want to know what the temperature is, you can take out your phone, you can play with your wrist, which try saying that and not sounding weird, or you can yell at a machine that might be listening to all of this and getting insulted and reporting back to Amazon.
Definitely.
It all seems like it's just a giant waste. You're paying $150 for it.
I've got my Echo Dot hooked up to my lights.
Oh, well, thank God you don't have to turn off your lights yourself.
I can walk upstairs after I fall asleep on the couch. I could yell into my Echo Dot to turn off the lights downstairs and it'll do it.
Ty, your muscles are going to atrophy.
This isn't like WALL-E. I'm not at the point where I'm in the rocket ship and getting old and fat. All right. I'm just saying that there are some use cases for voice-activated technology that make it not trash.
I mean, you could just pick up your phone, and burn 1/8 of a calorie calling the steakhouse to order bottle service. Just do that.
I think the problem is you're just an old man.
It's entirely possible.
Massage therapy against voice-activated technology.
Yeah, I think honestly, when I've been in apartments, I've been in houses where people have used this stuff, and I don't think it serves a purpose other than trying to impress people.
I'm not trying to impress anybody with it. I bought the Echo Dot for my entire family for Christmas.
Do they use it?
Yeah. Mom age, she streams music on it. It's her best friend.
I don't like it. It's listening, Ty. It's listening.
It is listening. I like voice-activated technology. I think it's better.
In this matchup?
I think it's better in this capacity than massage therapy. I think the matchups are playing in your favor here.
Make it 5.
I'm putting it through.
I would be shocked. I swear, I would be shocked if somebody tweeted us or emailed us and I've been like, I'm totally with Ty on massages. I want my kinks. I want my knots. And they're my business.
That brings us to the South region here. We're going way over time today. Apologies in advance. My number 2 seed, I'm trying to break up this run that you've got going on.
Yeah.
I feel very good about my my next 2 picks here. Okay. My number 2 seed is the movie Avatar.
Okay.
Have you seen the movie Avatar, Dan?
Yeah, saw it in theaters in 3D in Gilroy, California with West Coast Kevin.
Avatar, according to Box Office Mojo, made $2.7 billion worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
The Solid Wife tells me they're making 4 more of them.
Okay.
It can be 5 Avatars, provided James Cameron doesn't die before they make all 5, because it's taken forever. Why do you want to go see any of them, is my question. Why does anyone want to go see Avatar in the first place? What compelling plot point, storyline, anything? What makes you want to go see Avatar outside of the special effects?
I don't know, just because everybody else was seeing it and was making a bunch of money. It just sort of...
That's what I'm talking about.
Gain momentum.
That's what I'm talking about. So people raved about Avatar. Oh, you got to see Avatar. Why? I ask, why? If you're going to see a movie solely because of special effects, there's no real difference between Avatar and Transformers. Very secretly garbage. Your move.
Okay. Well, shout out for an 8-year-old movie. It's been a while. I don't think anybody likes Avatar now.
Don't demean my picks. That's a good selection.
I don't. But do people like in 2017? Are we like, at least with the night of, people are like into it at the moment? Are people into Avatar now? Like, do you think this has withstood the test of time? And I know you're going to say no, but I'm going to say withstood the test of time in terms of a conversation piece.
It's still coming up in like popular culture. You could throw a rock and hit a story about Avatar 2.
How many people in your office could name a character from Avatar?
That's kind of the point. That's kind of the point.
Point is,
thank you. You got any other points?
Well, I think it's more forgettable garbage.
That's
than
kind
something
of the
that
point.
People like. I don't think people like it present tense.
I think people were entertained by it. They were entertained by it. And it obviously is still a relevant talking point. It made almost $3 billion.
Yeah, but I don't think that... Can you name a character from Avatar?
I can't. I can't.
So it's not something that is... You cannot sort of recall.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. So it's not something that is on the tip of everybody's tongues, I don't feel like. I feel like it's just out and out garbage.
Secret garbage Avatar is my select. There was no time component to these selections, whether or not it was culturally relevant in 2017. Avatar is my number 2 seed. Who is your number 7?
Man, I'm feeling 6 in a row here because I'm going Chipotle here.
Nah, I like Chipotle.
I'm going Chipotle.
What's wrong with Chipotle?
Chipotle. It's salty. It's huge. It's a long wait generally. And also, you might get violent diarrhea.
That's once in a blue moon.
Is that okay?
I mean, it's Mexican food.
Mexican. I was just in Mexico City. I've always felt worse after eating Chipotle than I did after eating anything in Mexico City.
The problem with this is that you're biased. You're biased towards better.
No, but I like Chipotle. No, I like Chipotle competitors. I like places that are charging $9-10 for a burrito that are chains. I just don't. I think Chipotle is garbage. We
did get some submissions for Chipotle.
Yeah.
Avatar.
Well, and it's just the idea. So Chipotle has fallen into the category of people think, and I'll credit because they talked about it last week on the Shutdown Fullcast. People think they're sort of eating healthy, not because if they're eating a burrito, but if they're eating like a burrito bowl or they're having a salad that's just covered in rice.
The oatmeal cookie scenario, right? It's good for you.
Right, exactly. That's what Chipotle is, where people feel like they're eating fresh. They're eating responsibly, a responsible burrito. We source from this farm, whatever. You're not.
Okay.
It's to have that gut bomb in the middle of the day. It goes back to my day ruining.
But you can ruin your day eating all sorts of food, Dan. It's not just Chipotle.
You can, but I think Chipotle specifically, like there's a certain instinct you have when you're handed a burrito to eat the whole burrito. And I'm a dum-dum and I will do it. And I regret it every time, so I don't do it anymore. I think Chipotle's I think Chipotle more accurately represents this game than Avatar.
I'm gonna go Avatar.
Wow. I don't see it, Ty. I don't see it.
I'm not budging on this one, Dan. You either meet me where I'm standing or you get off this podcast.
But if nobody can name a character in Avatar,
that's kind of the point. It made $2.7 billion worldwide. And neither one of us can name a character.
But the secret garbage game is something that people like. Present tense.
People did like it. They did like it.
Well, it's not the present
It
tense.
made almost $3 billion. So people
I'll
must
give it
have
to you,
liked
Ty.
it to some extent.
I think your secret garbage pick is out and out garbage. That's what I'm going to say.
I'm writing Avatar down here. I don't care.
You're just avoiding the L, Ty.
I'm writing Avatar. I think it's a stronger selection.
Okay.
Chipotle isn't wrong. Just saying.
I think I'm closer to the spirit of this game that I made up.
Okay. Finally, who is your 3 seed?
Ketchup.
Okay.
It's my number
Explain.
3 seed. Ketchup, quite simply, is squiggly red sugar paste for children that was invented so 5-year-olds would eat hamburgers and get some protein in their diets, and people eat them as grown-ups. And it's gross. If you like ketchup, just eat barbecue sauce. It's ketchup with like human seasoning. That sounded weird now that I hear myself say it. Seasoning that grown-ups should enjoy. Maybe some pepper, maybe some garlic, maybe some Worcestershire, some molasses.
So what I
is-
think I'm hearing is that good barbecue sauce requires ketchup. It wouldn't be possible without the ketchup.
Oh, most barbecue sauce either has a vinegar or a tomato base.
Okay.
So yes, it is quite similar.
Okay.
But if you're going to eat ketchup, eat barbecue sauce for the much better version that's still a little similar. Ketchup by itself, you're just dipping fries in red sugar paste.
See, you just don't like ketchup.
No, because I'm open to ketchup. I like American cheese. So I'm not against things that are sort of mass produced and cheap and sort of related to fast food. I think ketchup is just flavorless.
I've always been a ketchup fan. I put it on almost everything. I put it on my cheeseburgers, on my French fries. Sometimes I'll put it next to my omelet. When I was 8, I used to put it on my
ketchup on
steak.
your omelet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God, Ty.
It is the primary ingredient in a lot of really good barbecue
But doesn't that sort of
sauce.
serve my point?
To some degree.
It's for children.
But it's very versatile. You can call it squiggly sugar paste if you want. But it's very versatile.
Well, just because it's an ingredient in barbecue sauce doesn't make it good alone.
It doesn't make it good, but it makes barbecue sauce nearly impossible without it.
But it's a children's treat.
All right. My number 6 is camping. You ever go camping, Dan?
I have been camping multiple times, many times.
What was that like for you?
Mixed. It's mixed, Ty. Sometimes good, sometimes it's not the greatest. I don't like it. I like roofs. I like running water. But I enjoy the camping, the sort of camaraderie, sort of sitting around a campfire and drinking. I like that.
There are
I like
elements.
the idea of like not being on my phone, getting a good night's sleep, maybe being near a lake.
I just don't get it. You know, like I've never professed to being outdoorsy. I don't necessarily live in the city, but I definitely relate more to a city than I do rural
That's fine.
America.
This is, by the way, the yankiest show we've ever done.
That's right. Thank you. I love a good hike through nature, and I have gone camping multiple times. I don't get it. It doesn't do it for me. What do you get out of camping outside of like smoke inhalation from the campfire and perhaps a tick or two and a little bit of camaraderie? I don't get it. You're never comfortable when you sleep. More often than not, you're cold. What's the point?
Well, you get away from it all, Ty. I think that's the point. You sort of reboot. You have fun with humans.
But can't you reboot somewhere else where you can get a good night's
Well,
sleep?
no, you can't reboot in like the backyard of a bar. No. Because you're still checking your phone, you're checking Instagram, you're checking scores, you're half paying attention, you're hearing other people. You get the sounds of nature, Ty. You see some stars, you hear some running water. Not running water, but you
Allergies.
hear
Oh,
some-
yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. I will not be camping with the solid fiance.
So here we are. Final matchup here. I feel like I need to get another one on the scoreboard here. Ketchup against camping is a difficult matchup.
Do you think more people like or dislike camping?
Than ketchup?
I think many more people like ketchup, have a positive opinion of ketchup than they do of camping, which is why I almost think mine fits better. Like, I feel like it's just sort of split 50-50. You either like camping or you don't.
I'll give you ketchup.
God damn.
All right. So now we got to go back to the top here.
Yeah.
We got to go back to the top. We spent an hour talking about those.
Nonsense.
Yeah. The NFL against steakhouses.
Probably the NFL.
It's got to be the NFL, right?
Steakhouses are garbage, but the NFL
The NFL is my 800-pound gorilla. Las Vegas against New Year's Eve.
What is more popular and more garbagey? I would say
it's got to be Vegas.
I think it's Vegas. Yeah.
The NFL against Vegas is going to be an interesting Raiders-esque matchup here, but we'll get to that momentarily. Yeah. Social media against voice-activated technology.
Social media. I think again, I think if we are going with the construct of what is more popular and to a higher degree of garbage at the same time, I think it's social media.
Avatar against ketchup. You're going to argue hard for ketchup, and I'm going to argue hard for Avatar.
Again, Avatar does not, in the present tense, have a place in polite society, an American society, an international society. It does not exist. Avatar is cinematic Snapchat.
Avatar is going to be coming out here again. It's a successful movie franchise.
I'll bet you it makes under $1 billion.
Oh, it's going way over. Way over.
Under $1 billion.
Well, domestically, you might be right. Domestically, you might have been right about it the first time, too. Movies generally do like 60% of their revenue from overseas.
Okay, I'll say it's international under 1.5.
No chance. No chance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If someone's keeping track of this, we probably won't still be on the air in 2038 when they finally release the next Avatar, but
Avatar it's completely ephemeral. It does not exist in the consciousness of anybody in 2017.
I feel like it will in very short order. I still feel like it is a really solid answer.
But under the construct of what is more popular and has a higher degree of trashiness. As a film, Avatar it's okay. It's nothing special.
I just it was all about the effects because I'm not anti-ketchup. I don't think it's garbage.
I know you're not. But Avatar doesn't exist.
This is basically a matchup of two things that we don't like. I don't like Avatar.
Right, but you couldn't name a single character in Avatar.
That's kind of my point. Secretly trash, despite the $2.7 billion.
If the game is something people like, it doesn't fit under that because you can't name a character. Which, by the way, the lead character is Jake Sully.
All right. Take your ketchup. Just take it.
I'm taking my ketchup.
I could keep fighting it, folks. I could keep fighting it, but he won't go away. And I don't want this to be a 2-hour show.
I'm relentless. I believe in what I believe. I invented this nonsense.
Let's stick with it then. Final four. West region against South region. Social media against ketchup.
Social media.
I think it's got to be social media then, right?
It's social media. Yeah.
And then in the other Final Four pairing, we've got the NFL against Las Vegas.
Okay. Once again, something a ton of people like that is a higher degree of garbage. It's probably the NFL.
I would agree with you.
Because I think people just sort of have a concept of Vegas and like, hey, what happens in Vegas stays? But I think the NFL is, well, here's the thing though. At the same time, what is the better part of the NFL and the better part of Vegas that we all like? The better part of the NFL is talented football players and fun football games. The better part of Vegas is what exactly? Like, I feel like there's more positivity with the NFL than there is with Vegas.
The NFL, though, is, to use your argument against Avatar, the NFL is way more mainstream for most people. It's on a Sunday. It's virtually unavoidable. If you don't want to go to Vegas, you don't have to.
But what I'm saying, the garbage quality of the NFL, is it more expansive than the garbage quality of Vegas?
If you want to consider other factors of the NFL besides just, what you see on TV, if you want
the experience, yeah.
Not just the experience, but the way the league is run, the way the league has been crafted over the last decade or so. it paints a far more ominous picture than what you just might see watching on a Sunday. So I think there's more than meets the eye here to make it even more secretly garbage.
But like that's all out in the open. People still love Vegas.
We're a football show, so we should probably go NFL here.
Then we're saying, okay, the football entity is garbage.
I'm saying the NFL.
All right. So then the NFL against social media.
Wow. Huh.
I'm definitely saying social media.
Give me your pitch for social media.
I think the garbage of social media has more wide-ranging negative effects than the NFL. The people that the NFL negatively affects is far smaller in scope than social media.
This is very difficult.
And seriousness.
This is extremely difficult.
By the way, I just said seriousness, and my phone started asking me what I wanted because it sounded like me saying Siri.
Nah, right. Voice
activation. Back into the championship.
This is what we like to call a good old-fashioned shootout. Dan, I think we can conclude here. Social media.
There it is.
Damn,
it really is garbage.
Painful.
Ty.
That was painful.
I feel like it brought us closer.
I don't. That was awful. You're a hard-headed SOB, man.
Absolutely, I am.
I'm much more pliable with my arguments.
Well, see, okay, here's
I'm much
the
more
thing.
open-minded than you are.
Oh, that's probably true. But like, I have the submissions in front of me. And so, like, I think if you had gone with any number of these things, you would have had a much stronger case all over the place. If you had gone with Drake, I think you would have had a really good case against a lot of my entrants. By the way, you had Beyonce in your original list, which is madness.
Okay. Beyonce, by the way, was a multiple time submission through our form as well.
That's true. It was.
To call it to call Beyonce secret garbage is a bridge too far. Beyonce is
it's madness.
Immensely talented. She's a fantastic artist, a great story. There's so much about Beyonce that is amazing. Where I guess I relate to this is that Beyonce's music for me is not quite the religious experience it seems to be for
That's fine.
a lot of the mainstream Beyonce fans out there.
Her recent stuff hasn't been my favorite, but that's okay.
It's not even a critique of the music, but just in general, I've never connected with Beyonce's music in the way that a lot of other people have. I don't feel the need to worship the product that she's putting forth in a similar capacity. So that's the only reason why I would consider it. But that was a little too much for me, so I can't do that.
Right. I liked this submission a lot. Binge watching TV. I think that's a really good submission.
No, I'm a fan.
I don't know. I do it and I like it, but at the same time, I feel kind of garbagey doing it. IPAs, I think it's a great submission.
IPAs is a good one.
If you had gone Times Square, you would have probably beaten everything I put on the table other than social media. I was shocked you didn't.
The Solid Wife wanted me to use Boba Fett from Star Wars. Again, very esoteric, but not entirely wrong.
Wait, she doesn't like Boba Fett?
Boba Fett. The character with the jet backpack in Star. What does Boba Fett do? Does Boba Fett talk? Boba Fett's going to get its own spin-off in like 2022. What does Boba Fett even do in Star Wars?
Isn't Boba Fett a bounty hunter?
Yeah, but so what? Boba Fett's done nothing interesting. Why is Boba Fett getting a movie?
Oh, Boba Fett wasn't Boba in Empire Strikes Back?
Boba Fett's been in a bunch of the movies, but that's just it. He's just been in the movies. He hasn't done anything of real consequence.
Okay. We've got Diet Soda, which I think is pretty good.
Diet Soda's a good one. Yeah.
We got a few more IPAs. We got spring football. We got emo, St. Patrick's Day. Couple avocados, which is just insane. We were going to play around with cake. We've talked about cake before already. I feel like that would not have been new territory. Shark Week I did like.
Shark Week, I don't agree with Shark Week, but Shark Week is exactly the kind of answer we're looking for. Like,
yes.
In stark contrast to coffee, which people sent in and many people rely on, I don't fully disagree that coffee is secretly garbage. However, it is very mainstream and something that many folks rely on to get jump started in the morning. Coffee might not be my favorite drink, but it's very much required for a lot of folks. Shark Week is so just sort of specialized and chintzy and kind of goofy that to throw it on this list, I feel like is exactly what we were looking for.
So I like the idea of having a Shark Week. I like documentary shows about sharks. I think what they actually produce is not that good. It's not that interesting, and it doesn't hold my attention.
Some of their megalodon content was straight up made up. Wasn't true.
Yes.
So,
Right.
Again, a lot of these things could be items that we genuinely enjoy. I like ketchup. You like Chipotle on some level, right? I mean, you'll eat Chipotle.
I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do.
What on your list do you actually like? Because there are things on mine that I like.
There are times when I've used voice activated technology and it's been good.
You like social media.
Beyond
You
that,
use social media.
Oh, and like I will eat well at a steakhouse. I just think the experience is secretly garbage. Right. And if it's like at a tailgate or something, I will day drink. Sure, it goes really good with tailgating food. Here is my last entry out, my last team out, like the bubble team that didn't make it in. Holiday specific candy. So we're talking Valentine's Day chocolates, Easter, the Peeps and the Cadbury eggs. The chocolate rabbits are fine. I don't celebrate Easter, so it's not all that relevant to me. Candy corn at Halloween, peppermint crap, Christmas time, holidays around then. I think it's all garbage. Just eat regular good sweet dessert.
Candy corn is garbage. I'll give you that. I'm not a candy.
Do you
corn
like Peeps?
Peeps are actually
Peeps
made.
Are heinous.
Peeps are made here in the good old Lehigh Valley.
Listen, and I hope they employ a ton of people. I'm glad it's a successful industry there, but it is a garbage product.
Have you ever eaten stale Peeps? That's the way you got to eat.
No.
You got to eat
I don't
stale
eat stale.
Peeps.
I don't eat fresh. I don't eat melted. I don't eat frozen. I think they're gross all over the place.
I'm buying you a pack of Peeps. I'm sending them up to New York.
Ty, do better.
Remove the
Get me
wrapper.
something
Let
else.
them out in the open. Let them get some air. Breathe for a couple days. Then try them.
No.
Different experience.
I can't do it. I can't do it, Ty.
Different experience.
That's all I got, Ty. We'll talk about my bachelor party next time.
This was a revealing episode. Undoubtedly, the reviews here are going to be that you bullied me again.
That's fine.
And I'm not happy about that.
Ty, you took so much crap for the Reese's.
I took a lot of crap for the Reese's Pieces.
I was
For
completely
mixing up
vindicated
Reese's
with that
Pieces
one.
with Buttercups. Excuse me. For mixing up Reese's Pieces with, what are they called?
Cups, peanut butter cups.
The peanut butter cups, yeah. Yeah, I took a lot for that. I'm okay with it.
Individually wrapped Reese's Pieces. I don't think anything we've done, we've gotten the reaction that you got.
No.
And good for you for standing in there and taking the sack.
Got to take it like a man.
Taking the hit.
Yeah.
And you had the power to edit that whole thing out. And
No,
you
I didn't. Good
for you.
I probably won't edit most of this out either. This is all staying in state, like a dead pope.
Yeah. The show itself was secretly garbage.
All right.
Which
Well, we
is okay. Very on
appreciate
brand.
We appreciate everyone's submissions here. We hope you enjoyed
Yes.
the show along with us.
Tell us where we're right or wrong.
Yeah, tell us where we're right and wrong. solidverbal@gmail.com. Also look for us on social media. Twitter,
of course.
Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, the whole 9 yards. We'll be there. We'll be here all off season. Next week, we're doing the Verbies. So another interactive element of the Solid Verbal. We had folks nominate. We had folks vote. Next week, we will reveal the winners, though not at Radio City Music Hall like we did last year.
True. Solid Fiance just got home. I very rarely record at home. I probably won't be able to convince her to come on, at least not yet.
All right. Good show, Dan.
Yeah, great times.
Thank you again to
We learned a
everyone's
lot.
submissions. We appreciate you hanging in with us here for a longer than usual show. My name is Ty Hildebrand. His name is Dan Rubenstein. We will catch you all in a week. Stay solid.
Peace.